Hi everybody, in this video we're going to look at how you can use basic trigonometry to find angles within a right angled triangle. So let's have a quick look. Assuming you've already watched the video, the first video on trigonometry on how to find missing sides. If you haven't, it's well worth looking at that because it goes over how you label the right angled triangle. So I'm going to dive in straight with a question here. So let's, for example, take this right angled triangle. Let's say that this height is 8 centimeters and the length of the hypotenuse over here is 10 centimeters. This is a right angled triangle and we're trying to find this angle here that we've marked x. So just like the other lesson on trigonometry, we start with SOHCAHTOA. The nice thing about SOHCAHTOA is it gives you a place to start all of your basic trig questions from. Okay, so we're looking at the triangle and trying to figure out what have we been given here. We've got an angle here we're trying to find, we've got a hypotenuse here so we can underline the h's, and we've got the side which is opposite the angle so we can underline the o's, and that tells us there that we want to be using the sine ratio because it's the one with opposite and hypotenuse in. So the sine ratio is that sine x equals opposite of a hypotenuse, and from there we can have a look at a triangle and see what we got. So don't know the angle, we'll leave that as an x for now, and the opposite is 8 and the hypotenuse is 10. Now you could work that out on a calculator and give it 0.8 and simplify the fraction if you want, but really there's no need to do any of that at this stage. I would leave it just as it is in whatever format it comes in. What we want to do is get this x on its own and get rid of the sine bit that's in front of it. So what we've got to do really is the inverse of sine to both sides. Now that's called arc sine, and on your calculator it's written as sine to the minus 1. You'll see it if you've got a calculator in front of you. Look at the sine button and then above you will see it written sine to the minus 1, and to get that on your calculator you need to press the shift key. So let's do that now then. Let's take the inverse, the arc sine of both sides. So that will leave us with an x on this side and sine to the minus 1 of 8/10 on this side. If you type that into your calculator now, so shift sine to get sine to the minus 1 or arc sine, and then you can type in 8 divided by 10, or you can use the fraction key, 8 over 10, close the bracket. Assuming you're in the right mode and you're in degrees mode on your calculator, you should get an answer that x is 53.1301 and so on. Now we'll round that, and generally I would round it to the nearest degree, but look for the question. You might say round to 1 decimal place or round to 3 significant figures. We're going to round that to the nearest degree today, which is 53 degrees. And that would be 2 significant figures. I'm going to do one more example just to make sure you're happy with this. So we've got another right angle triangle. There's the right angle up here in this corner. We'll say that this is 16 and that this is 12, and we're trying to find this angle here, x. So SOHCAHTOA is our familiar place to start. I'm going to think about this one because it's a different way around. So there's the hypotenuse here. It's opposite the right angle, but it's not involved in the problem in this case. We've got the angle x looking across at the opposite side, which is 12, and we've got the adjacent, which is 16. So we've got an opposite and an adjacent. We need to use tan. Tan x equals opposite over adjacent. Let's look at the triangle and fill in some of this detail. We don't know what x is yet, but we know the opposite is 12 and the adjacent is 16. And now we want to get x on its own and get rid of this tan function, so we need to do arctan to both sides. inverse tan. So x becomes tan to the minus 1 of 12 over 16, and on your calculator you can type that in. Shift and tan will give you tan to the minus 1, and then you could do 12 divided by 16, close the bracket, or you could do fraction key, 12 over 16. Either way, whichever way you do it, you should get an answer. X equals 36.869 8, and so on. And again, I'm going to round that to the nearest degree in this case, so that would be 37 degrees to two significant figures. If that makes sense. Bye for now.